What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about why you should not be buying an exotic car to at least the third quarter of 2023. And if you are going to brave these routes and go out and buy an exotic car, there's a lot of things you need to know about. There's so much scam and fraud. It's not only regular people, it's dealers, it's auctions, it's a whole bunch of stuff. I know it's gonna blow your mind. I can't wait to share it with you guys. But before I do, if you could do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm, it also find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, please consider subscribing. We're almost to 200,000 subscribers. So if you guys can help me get there before New Year's Eve, it would be amazing and I would truly appreciate it. And once again, follow us on Instagram at Lucky Lopez. Let's get into the video. So about 2 weeks ago, I made a video talking about the current status of the used car market. Now, I lightly touched on exotic cars, but I wanted to leave it for a separate video, and today is that day. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video today is because I decided to sell my 2021 Audi R8. And the numbers that I'm seeing today are completely different than the numbers that I saw 2 months ago. For example, I decided to sell my R8 back in October because my friend was going to sell me his Lamborghini Huracan for a great deal. Make a long story short, he ended up keeping it and the sale didn't go through. But at that time, I decided to take my car to CarMax, Carvana, GiveMeTheVin.com, and the highest bid I got was about $175,000. Fast forward to today, I got a bid just this morning for between $140,000 to $145,000, which is a pretty dramatic drop. Now, I know the book's gonna go down a little bit, but not that quickly. Now, this is a Audi R8, very popular and very reliable. The other one that scared me was about 2 months ago, back in October, the same thing. I had a Aston Martin DB11. Great car. I bought it from an auction. We fixed it up and I was going to put it up for sale. I got a bid from GiveMeTheVin.com. They were going to give me $150,000 for the car. I was super excited. I went and put the title in my name. It took 2 weeks for it to come back. By the time I got it, I came with my $150 coupon or $100,000 coupon. I'm like, hey, I'm ready to get my money. They're like, oh, it's been past 7 days. We need to reevaluate it. They reevaluated it. Make a long story short, they offered me $124,000. I lost almost $30,000 in value within 2 weeks. Now, the reason why I decided to tell this story is because after they did that, I called a few people I know that work at GiveMeTheVin.com and Carvana and CarMax, and I asked them, as a buyer, what are you guys collectively seeing across the market? And one of the people from GiveMeTheVin.com scared me the most. They said that they bought numbers of Lamborghinis in Texas, Florida, stuff like that, Urus's, and they're not getting their money. They overpaid for G-Wagons and Tesla Plaids, and they weren't selling at the auction. So they had not 50, not 60, we're talking hundreds of exotic, highline, and luxury vehicles rerunning multiple times, which is called a no sale or a rerun. And that's really bad in our industry. And it scared them so much to the point where they started offering 10, 15, 20% less on some book values. Now, this trend started about, I'd say maybe the end of September, beginning of October. Well, fast forward to today, we can see it all around the used car market. Every time you try to price an exotic car, the prices keep going down. Dealers are slowly rolling back the numbers because people are just not buying. One, the book values are dropping, which is really scary. I've never seen Kelley Blue Book and Black Book and NADA drop so fast on vehicles except for exotic cars. You saw people giving $150,000 over MSRP for a G-Wagon slowly start to roll back, and now they're getting basically just what MSRP is. There's tons of used G-Wagons all over the market. They used to be, I remember you couldn't find a single G-Wagon, even the older body style. Now, that's probably the most dumped car that I've seen at the auction when it comes to exotic or luxury vehicles. And the second one is Urus's. I don't know what happened, but those things were so popular during the pandemic. Everybody and their grandma decided to buy one of these things. And the worst thing is a lot of people bought them to rent them out because they were going to be rental car companies and blah, blah, blah. And make a long story short, those are all the cars that are either getting repoed or they're so desperate they're taking it back to auction and selling them for a loss because they got to get rid of them because they're not making the money from the rentals, from the maintenance, and depreciation. Now, that's what I want to talk about on our next segment. So now that I decided to sell my Audi R8, I decided to look for some new cars and some newer projects. And so I went to the auction and I saw a purple Huracan. It was a very nice car. I went to go look at it and the odometer said 8,000 miles. Plugged in my scanner, went through the body control modules, went to the TCM, and I saw the TCM was saying that it had a little over 29,000 miles. And I was just like, okay, maybe this is just an accident, right? So I'm like, maybe they put a used transmission in there. So I confirmed with a few other modules, and that was the actual mileage of the vehicle. This just lets me know that they rolled it back. So I decided to hold the blinker and press a certain button, and next thing you know, the lights flash. This lets me know that they put a mileage blocker on their vehicle. There's these companies out there that sell these things. Don't use them because yes, they stop the miles on your dash, but they do not stop the miles from going on the rest of your computers. And so that's the trick. And so all these cars that I decided to look at, I'm like, well, let me see if it's just this car. Because the gentleman had 3 other cars there. He had a Rolls-Royce Wraith and he had a Range Rover there. So we went to all 3 cars. All 3 of them, the mileage was different on the TCM, which is a transmission control module, compared to the PCM or the brain, the actual odometer. Both those had a discrepancy. And then they both had, I don't know how to work the Range Rover one, but the Rolls-Royce, I was able to push the trigger, hold the button, and the lights flash would let me know that it was an actual mileage blocker. So we're seeing more and more of these things all over the place. Plus there's companies out there that are showing up that are rolling back miles and people are charging thousands of dollars for this thing. Now the reason why I want to bring so much attention to this is because this is what's going to happen for the next several months. And this is why I recommend you do not buy anything until the 3rd quarter of 2023. Because 1, prices are going to drop. But 2, people are so desperate and they're so upside down in their cars, they're trying to do whatever they can to keep the value of their vehicle high. I've never seen as many exotic cars with rollback numbers in my life. So after I did that auction, I was in California. I did it over there. I found 2 or 3 there. I went to Arizona. I found 2 or 3 there. And just for fun, I was going out looking at people's cars and I was scanning them. And a lot of the luxury cars and exotic cars all had either incorrect miles, the mileage blockers on them, and some of the owners didn't even know it. My friend bought a really nice, it was a Bentley Bentayga. We scanned it. The TCM and the miles from the PCM were completely different. He had it, I think he bought it with 23,000 miles. The car had 69,000 miles. And so we started Googling the VIN over and over again, and we found it was from a rental car company in Florida. These are the things that you need to look for now that you're starting to buy these cars. Don't ever buy an exotic car until you read the miles or the information from all the body control modules. If you want to buy a Lamborghini Huracan, take it to Lamborghini, ask them to read the miles off the TCM. Ask them to read the miles off of whatever control module they can, because a lot of times these guys, they're either switching the clusters, they're putting the mileage blockers in, or they're getting these guys to roll back the miles. Now, in some cars, the computer actually keeps track of the previous miles. I won't say which ones they are because I want you assholes to get caught, but there's a lot of people out there now that are starting to look for this. I just talked to my buddy Rob, Freddie. If you get a chance to check out his channel, he was actually talking about it recently on, I think, on one of his channels about how finding these people that are doing this odometer fraud. And it's more and more prevalent with exotic cars. So please be very, very careful. Now, my Audi R8, I bought it with 27 miles. It has 22,000 miles on it. I've owned it for less than a year and a half. Did I drive it? Yes. Did I lose $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in value because I drove it and enjoyed it? Yes. I don't mind selling it for a little bit of a loss because I enjoyed the car. I had such an amazing time with it. I know I don't show it off on this channel this much, but I've been on a bunch of rallies. I've met a bunch of really cool people. I literally, like after videos or when I'm stressed, I literally hop in my car and drive. It doesn't bother me that the miles are on there. And I drove my car a lot. For 1 year, putting 22,000 miles, I think that's a lot. And especially for an exotic car. But I'm okay with that because every year I'll just get something new and keep that thing moving. But there's so many people out there that are so afraid of taking these massive losses. We're talking about these rental car companies. A lot of these shady U-car dealers, I won't say the name, but there's 2 of these guys in LA. Every freaking car on their lot, the odometer is wrong. I would never buy from these guys. It's just bad. And then on top of that, go to the auction. You will see all these cars here. So if you're buying an exotic car, spend about $7-8 grand, get a really good scanner where you can actually read the modules from European, German, and Italian cars. And this way you can see exactly what the miles are. Also, I think auctions, if you're watching this, Manheim, Odessa, IAA, Copart, you need to have quality techs that can do these types of searches. If you do, I guarantee you'll be kicking half the cars out of your lot because there's so many mile rollbacks. It's absolutely ridiculous. So anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please be careful when you're out there shopping. If you're interested in buying my Audi R8, it's a 2021. It's got 22,000 original miles that I put on it. It's got a Voodoo center exhaust, which is the only center exit exhaust in the world. That was a $15,000 option. I got a hex tune. I think I got 640 horsepower. It's a blast. I just bought all 4 new branded tires. You can have it all for the low price of $150,000. So if you're interested, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram @LuckyLopez, and we'll see you next video.